Preparing for assessment. By failing to prepare, you are preparing to fail. So basically, the most important thing to do when preparing for assessment is actually do some study, actually prepare. So some study tips. Be sure you understand any keywords or new vocabulary you have highlighted. Ask your trainer if you have any questions ahead of time, ahead of the assessment. Read summaries at the ends of chapters and don't leave revision into the last minute. It's a good idea to set up a regular schedule and build your revision time into each week. So you do so much time on home study tasks, pre-reading, but you also build in a certain amount of time, could just be a small amount, on assessing, on revising previous material. Revision spaced over time is generally much better than cramming it in at the last minute. And late night study is usually a recipe for tiredness and poor retention of information. It can be difficult, I know, because it might be that waiting until late at night is the only time you can study, particularly if you have children. It might be that setting an alarm and studying earlier in the morning before they get up might actually be a better way of you retaining that information. Trying different things like that in the earlier months of your study is a good idea to see what works best for you. It's also over the first weeks or months of your course that you'll start to get an idea of how long it actually takes for you to do the pre-reading. How long does it actually take for you to do any home tasks that the trainer sets, and to then adjust your schedule and build into some study time from there. Because sometimes they being training providers, might recommend that a certain amount of time for home study, but it might well be that that's the maximum amount of time that should be required for home study, that many people might be able to complete the study tasks that are required in a smaller amount of time than that, and you'll get a feel for that over the first few weeks and months. Think positive as you go into an assessment. Try not to put too much pressure on yourself. The most constructive approach is to focus on the task at hand. So keep your mind where your hands are. Put in as much time studying as you can afford, and just do your best. We can only do what we can do, and if you know that you genuinely have done the study that you're capable of doing, then you can feel proud and that you are achieving your best. And that's all you can ask of yourself, really. All any of us can. A certain amount of anxiety when preparing for an assessment is normal. So the butterflies in the tummy, they're quite natural and normal. Some studies have said that that little bit of stress can help us perform at our best. The other thing is to remember that although you want to gain this qualification, often for a particular workplace, whether you're training for the workplace or whether you're just training for your own interest, for stimulating your mind, getting out of the house, going back for future study, it doesn't matter. The assessment isn't the be-all and end-all. Obviously, the assessment helps you gain the qualification, and that is an important goal. But also, your understanding of the material is what's important. So that's what I want you to focus on, doing your best with understanding and learning, not so much cramming and memorizing and studying by rote, but truly gaining a depth of understanding in the topic that you're studying, so that then you can go into any assessment knowing that, being confident in your abilities and that you do know your stuff, and those